Hey again, this is Deborah Smithy, MissouriMidwife.com, and morethanjustamidwife.com. I want to finish up our discussion about the one-day postpartum home visit. You know, there's a few extra things that we think about during the first day postpartum. Number one, if the mom was Rh negative and we draw up some cord blood at the time of the birth, and determine that the baby's blood type was one of the Rh positive types, then that mom is going to need a shot of a substance called RhoGAM in order to protect any future Rh positive babies from any kind of blood incompatibility issues. So that's one extra thing for the mom that we think about during the one-day visit. And then for the baby, there's several things at the one-day postpartum home visit that we don't do at most of the visits. And number one, of course, we give the parents their birth certificate worksheet because everybody wants their birth certificate. I also make a cute little keepsake birth certificate and put little, ink stamped baby footprints on it, so that's kind of cute. But health-wise, there's a few things that we check at the one-day visit. Number one, we like to do the newborn metabolic screening test. That's the heel poke test. It used to be called the PKU test because PKU, or phenylketonuria, that's the most common of the metabolic diseases that are checked for in the newborn metabolic screening. But it also checks for other diseases, for example, cystic fibrosis or sickle cell anemia, sickle cell disease. There's quite a few. In fact, in Missouri, 50 metabolic disorders are checked for. Other states check for, different tests, some more, some fewer than Missouri, but here in Missouri, it's 50 different screenings that they do, so it's pretty important. These tests, most of them are for diseases that you can really make a huge impact in the outcome of that baby's health and that baby's life if these diseases are caught early, because many of them are treatable, or at least partially treatable if they're caught early enough. So that's the newborn heel poke metabolic screening that we do on day one. And then also here in Missouri, and I think most of the other states are starting to pass the same legislation, there's the critical congenital heart disease screening. This is a non-invasive test that we just use a pulse oximeter machine with a special attachment for the newborn, and we check the pulse ox on the hand, right hand, and on one of the baby's feet, and then compare the two results. If the results are outside of the boundary limits for normal, then there's a greater chance that the baby could have a very rare heart defect. Now, these heart defects are so rare that in all of the United States, there's probably only about 150 of them a year. And they've found that probably about half of those cases could be caught if the babies are all screened between 24 and 48 hours of age. So that's why we do the CCHD screening, is to try to catch those very, very few babies that have a rare heart defect that is treatable and can be caught, probably about half of them caught using this non-invasive screening. Now, if I had a baby that did not pass the heart screening, does that mean that they have one of the very rare heart defects? No, that's not what it means. It means that the baby needs additional screening by a doctor, more than we can do with using a pulse oximeter at home. So probably in my career, I will probably never see one of those rare heart defects that can be caught with CCHD screening, but we still check all our babies for it, just to be sure. We want to make the best outcome for that baby's life as we can. So I think that about wraps up all of the components of the one-day postpartum checkup for both the mom and for the baby. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting or leaving out, but if any of you have any questions about it, be sure and send me an email. You can follow my blog, morethanjustamidwife.com, or you can look at my website, MissouriMidwife.com, and send me an email if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks so much. Have a great day.